Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. On today's video, we are going to be learning how to make a blazer dress. If that's something you're interested in, come with me and let's get started. But before we go anywhere, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thank you. We're going to start drafting from the back. So the first thing we want to do is make an outline of what we'll call shoulder when it comes to this. So from the top of the paper, I'm just going down by ½ inch and I'll just rule a straight line, so we could call that the shoulder line. So from the shoulder line, I'm going down by 2 inches, but there's a kick to this. You could go down by 2 inches like me and risk the neckline of your back and your front to be like widened, or you can just do ½ inch. That way it will sit very well on your neck and you won't have like any problems with it whatsoever. Not like I had any problems with it. I'm just saying when it comes to putting a collar on an outfit, it will be best if you use half. In this video I used 2 because I wanted mine to be like really opened at the back. That's why I'm using 2 here. But just so you know, I'm using the reason why I'm actually taking time to explain this is because we're basically just drafting a basic bodice here, so I have to explain that neck part very well for you to understand, and I pray that you do. So what I did here is my shoulder measurement divided by 2, added 1 inch for ease, and then I went ahead to rule a line to make sure it sits right. And I'm doing shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust, and shoulder to waistline. And I'm also going to do shoulder to the full length of what I want the dress to be. I'm also going to do from waist. This is now waist to hip, so you do the difference between from your waist to your hip and roll that down. And you're also going to do from now your shoulder to the full length of the dress, and make sure you add at least 1 or 2 inches for your hemming allowance. That's what I'm doing here right now. So on the bust line, I'm going to start doing my measurements, right? So I'm just going to go from my bust. I'm going to go up by 1 inch. Remember, we're drafting the back, so this is very important. So from here, I'm going to do my under bust divided by 8, or you do your nipple to nipple divided by 2. So I'm going to rule my lines, and this is going to be called my apex line, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is divide this apex line into 2 to get the middle part of it, the mid part of it, mid, whatever you want to call it. That's what we're going to do here. I'm just going to rule a line, and then the dart that I'm going to be using is now going to be dependent on me. For me, I'm going to be using a 1 inch dart. So I'm going to place my tape here and measure ½ inch on both sides, which will give me a 1 inch dart. Now you can decide to do 2 inches dart, whichever one suits you. That's what you're going to use. So I'm just going to connect this now from the top of my apex line to the ½ inch to the bottom of my apex line. If you don't understand what I'm saying, please watch what I'm doing. I feel it would help you more if you listen and also like see, like visualize what I'm doing. So the next thing I'm going to do is take my apex line and just take it all the way down to the length of my dress. Now this is not as important as if you don't want to like separate your pattern at the end. If you want to leave back just plain as it is, you can do that. But if you want to separate your back after everything, you can do this. Basically, I did my bust measurement divided by 4, added 1 inch, and then I'm just going to use my French curve to curve a line towards the shoulder slope that we did earlier. And then I'm going to put in my main measurements now. So I'm going to do my waist measurement divided by 4. I'm going to mark that out. Remember, we've already done bust measurement divided by 4. So here we're doing waist measurement divided by 4. I'm going to add my dat, and then I'll add my sewing allowance to it. That's basically what I'm doing here now. And I'm going to take my ruler and connect the dots together like so. The next thing I'm going to do is do my hip measurement divided by 4, and I'm going to put my 1.5 inch sewing allowance. Now on the hip side, as you can visualize, there is no dat. That's why we're not putting any dat allowance on the hip line. And I'm just going to use my French curve again, make a curve because I have a curve. And then on the length part of it, now this is another thing that you have to pay attention to. You can do your hip measurement divided by 4, then go down and minus 1. Now if you don't want it to be as slanted as mine, if you don't want it to be as penciled as mine, you could just go ahead and do 11 and then add your sewing allowance. That way it will be much more straight than penciled. Here I just went in by 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to take that same ruler of mine and make a like slant line from edge to edge, like you see me doing like this. Now what I said before about separating the pattern, I'm just going to go ahead and divide this into 2. Now we're going from neck to armhole, divide that by 2 like what I did here, and then just rule that line to your apex line, and that is everything for the back pattern. This is everything, you guys. I pray you understand what just went on here. I know there was so much explanation, but I feel it was easy. Not as easy as I think for beginners, but I feel I try my best to explain. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut now. And please be careful when you're cutting, because you can make a mistake. Now for you to avoid this mistake, you can add 1/2 inch to it, so you can cut without cutting your main like drafting. I pray you understand what I'm saying. Basically I'm just going ahead to separate and then cut out the 1/2 inch that I put at the back, and this is everything for the drafting and the cutting of the back pattern. Now to the front side of it, the exciting part of it. We're going to go down by 6 here. Now depending on the person you're sewing for and the length you're going for, you can do 5, you can do 4, and I'm just going to go from the side. I'm going to go in by 4 inches. So yeah, 6 by 4, and I'm just going to rule my 4 all the way down, and I'm going to also try to get my length later. But I'm literally just doing the same thing I did at the back. Basic bodice measurement, right? So I did for the front neckline I did 4 by 3.5. And then you understand, shoulder measurement divided by 2, and basically what we're doing here is draft a basic bodice pattern like we did at the back, but there are only like slight differences from the front and the back. Please pay attention and stay tuned. Thank you. on the armhole line, we're going to divide it by 2. So we have 8, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So we're going to do 4 and then come in by 1/2 inch. You're going in, not out, by 1/2 inch. And then you're going to connect that line to the top of the shoulder slope. And what we're going to do next is do our bust measurement divided by 4, make our marks, and then connect the like a curve to the dots that we've already done for our bust measurement divided by 4. I pray you understand what I just said. And then for the front part of the dart, we're going to go down. You know, at the back we went up by 1 inch. At the front part of it, you're going to go down by 1 inch and then impute your like apex line and connect it. Like we did at the back, we're going to divide this by 2 and then find the midpoint, mark that, rule a line, and then make our darts known.
I know what I need and that ain't changing. If I could lay down beside you, I would. When nothing really matters, that's all I wanna do. I hope that you are safe and that I will see you soon.
Okay, so that is that for the dart. I'm just going to go ahead and label. Labeling is important, like I'll always say. Now that we're done with that, it's time to work on the collar line. So here we're going to come out by 1 inch, and if you remember at the back we didn't have any zipper allowance or button allowance. That's because all that is going to be coming towards the front side of this. So here I'm coming out by 1 inch. You can come out by 1.5 inch if you so choose, and I'm just going to extend my neckline towards that 1 inch line that we've already done. The next thing we're going to do is determine where we want our break point to be. So from this very top line here, I'm going to go from that line towards my waistline, and I'm going to like measure it to make sure that what I have is correct. I'm going to measure out 11.5 here, and I'm just going to make a mark at the lower part, what you see me doing, and then I'm going to create lines going from that point to my neckline. Now on this neckline you want to go out by 1/2 inch. I didn't do that here, but if you want yours to be really seated smooth on your shoulder and on your neckline, you want to go out by 1/2 inch. So that's another correction that I needed to make. So we've made that now, and yeah, you just connect the line from that point that we just made to the new neckline. That's going to be called your new neckline. So the next thing we're going to do, now that's our break point, right? The next thing we're going to do is get the lapel. So from that point there, we are going to go out by 1 inch. Now you can go out also by 1 inch or 1.5 inch, that depends on you, but yeah, we're going to go out here by 1 inch, and then we're going to connect that. After doing that, we're going to connect that to the break point, which is the waistline. So extend the neckline and then extend the neckline and then connect it to the break point.
Even if you're gone, I will remember you. All I know, what I
like that, and you have your lapel. So this is really nice and really neat. I'm just going to go ahead and cancel the middle line. Oh, another thing I forgot to tell you is you need to use a pencil if you're a beginner, so you can easily clean when you're done. So from now on the shoulder line, you're going to go up by 3.5 or 3 inches. Now you don't want to keep your tape on a straight form, you want to keep it on a slanted form. because we're still going to have to extend that line that we've just created for our lapel to the top. What we're doing right now is actually creating the back collar. You are creating a collar for this now. You can call it the back collar or you can call it a collar. So here we're going to go out by half an inch. Just mark half an inch and then connect that line into the lines that we just extended. I pray you understand what I'm saying. If you don't understand what I'm saying, just watch what I'm doing. I'm sure you will understand. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that because we don't need it anymore. Now from here, from that point, we're going to also have to slant this. Keeping it straight is not an option. We're going to have to slant this, right? From here, we're going to go out. We're going to go out by 3.5 as well. You can do 3 or you can do 3.5, whichever you want is fine by you. And here where we have our lapel, I'm going to go up by half an inch. You just go up by half an inch. You can do 1, but I feel 1 is a dare for you. So you just go up by 1 and then you connect that dot to the line that we've cancelled earlier. If you still don't understand what I'm saying, just pay close attention. You'll understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to use my French curve now to make a curve. First of all, I'm going to rule a line. I don't know why I overdid the line, but then do you see my mistake? I left the dot that I made and then went ahead to do something else. But please do not follow my mistake. If you've made a dot somewhere, follow the dot all the way through. When I finished this was when I found out that I made that mistake and I fixed it. So please don't let that mistake haunt you. Fix what you need to fix before any other thing. So that is everything, you guys. So the next thing we're going to do is put in our main measurements. You already know what to do. Your waist measurement divided by 4, and then you put in your dart measurement, which is 1 inch. If you used 2 inches for your dart, please put 2 inches back for your dart. If you used 1 inch, put 1 inch back. Here I'm going to do hip measurement divided by 4, like I said before, and I'm going to add 1.5 inch. It's okay if you use 1 inch and it's okay if you use 1.5 inch. Just make sure you're comfortable with the allowances that you're giving on your pattern so you don't regret anything at the end. Just like I did before on the front part, I'm just connecting all the dots and doing all the things I need to do. This is everything, you guys, and this is everything. It came out so nice, but there's something else we need to do now. We're going to separate this and mark the middle part of it and then connect it to the apex line like we did for the back, because I told you before that I'm going to be separating this. If you don't want to separate yours, it's fine. Oh, please don't follow me. If you don't want to like slash and spread your pattern for the back, is fine. You don't have to do it, but for the front there is maybe you have to do it on the front part, but for the back I don't know. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. So cut as I cut, and please be careful. Thank you. While cutting your pattern, please be careful so you don't mistakenly cut anything out. Like I said before, you can also add like a 1/2 inch barrier to this so you don't make any mistakes whatsoever. And even if you do, you do not touch your main pattern, because that is very important. Okay guys, after separating everything, this is what it looks like. That is the back, the other one is the front, and this is the color for it all. I hope you understood and learned something new. With that being said, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Don't forget to turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified when I post a new video. Don't forget to love yourself because I love you. Have a beautiful day. Bye.